Yesterday, which featured the first padded practice for your Minnesota Vikings, Harrison Phillips went Hulk smash through Garrett Bradbury multiple times. Now, on one hand, great stuff from Phillips. On the other hand, I don't know just how excited I'm supposed to feel about this because the playing field is off. I gotta call it like it is. At this point in time, literally any defensive tackle in the league versus Garrett Bradbury is the equivalent of prime Anderson Silva versus any novice fighter that you can find at a local gym, headlining a UFC main event. We're talking about an NFL center here going into his fourth year out of NC State, who is unable to do the basic element of his job, which at that position is to demonstrate a foundational level of strength. At the pro level, technique is where criticism is supposed to be directed to. Ideally, Oli Udoh, his technique is god-awful, but the man is strong. With Bradbury, we don't even have the luxury to say, okay, technique-wise, here's where he can be better, because when you have no anchor, it doesn't matter. Fourth season now. He's had 3 off seasons to dedicate himself in the weight room, to put on weight, and he hasn't. So when I see that Harrison Phillips trucked him over more than once, I'm like, well, yeah, that's what's supposed to happen. This is Troy Williamson level bad, an NFL receiver who couldn't do the basic requirement of his job, catching the football. I'm already a big fan of Kevin O'Connell, but the way he tried to boost up Garrett Bradbury this offseason through the media, well, we're going to put him in positions to succeed. How are you going to do that? He's a center. He can't go anywhere. He's at the mercy of wherever defensive tackles want to line up pre-snap, whether it's a particular gap or nose to nose. So when the Vikings continue to trot out this guy doing first team reps without any sort of competition in-house, or as we come up with ways for why we shouldn't sign J.C. Tretter, oh, his knees are so bad. Well, the alternative is this guy, a guy who has been the equivalent of sleds in practice. So players that work up front in the trenches, offensive and defensive lines alike, the sleds. It's all about your hand placement and your whole body movement. There's very little resistance from the sleds. That's been Garrett Bradbury. You cannot go into this season with Bradbury as your starting center. You just can't. And in fact, if yesterday's practice wasn't enough to where Kwesi Adofo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell saw up front how much this was a disaster, if that wasn't enough for the Vikings to announce today a signing of a free agent center, J.C. Tretter, or to enter into today's practice, making a change with first team reps at center, perhaps Chris Reed, I don't give a damn who you put there at this point. If a change is not made immediately, then I don't know what else there is to say.